Okay, now we're going to learn how to do calculations involving pH and pOH. If you don't have a calculator, grab one. You also need this chart here. So if you don't have one of those, get one of them. I'm going to go back to this last slide right here on the PowerPoint from our notes and just recall that when we calculate pH, from that, we determine if we have an acid, base, or neutral salt. So below 7 is always going to be our acids. Above 7 is going to be our bases. And then about 7, that's everything that's neutral, is going to be right there. Okay? So our pH is directly correlated to our hydrogen ion concentration. And we can see that right here. If you have a pH of 14, our hydrogen ion concentration is 1 times 10 to the negative 14. This is just a shortcut way of saying that, but really this is 1 times 10, okay? If we go all the way down here, and we have something like hydrochloric acid with a pH of 0, that is 1 times 10 to a 0 there, or 1 is 1 times 10 to the negative 1. So these are directly correlated to each other, and that's how we're going to calculate the pH from the hydrogen concentration or vice versa. Also, if we're talking about pH, there's another thing called the pOH. The pOH is directly related to the hydroxide concentration. Okay, so it's actually the same calculation but involving pOH. Okay, so our chart here shows us that if I want to calculate pH from hydrogen concentration, it says I'll take the negative log, that's logarithm, of the hydrogen concentration. If I want to go from hydroxide concentration to pOH, it's the same calculation but using hydroxide. Okay, so we're going to learn how to do that first, going from concentration to pH or pOH. So let's look at our calculations here. Notice everything is based on 14. pH plus pOH equals 14. Hydrogen concentration times hydroxide concentration equals 1 times 10 to the negative 14. So like if I know one of these, like if I know this is 1 times 10 to the negative 4, my pH is here, then what's my hydroxide concentration? Well, based on that number 14, what's 14 minus 4? Then my OH concentration would be 1 times 10 to the negative 10. So just remember everything's based on 14. So let's look at these calculations. First, we're going to look at hydrogen concentration to pH. Hydrogen concentration to pH. So let's look at that. Hydrogen concentration to pH says I'm going to take the negative log of the hydrogen concentration. And when you're doing that, let's grab a calculator. Ooh, there's a shadow on it. Okay. So right there, we're going to take the negative log of our hydrogen concentration. Okay, so number 3 says our hydrogen concentration is 1 times 10 to the negative 10. So I'm going to go negative control log. See, log is right there in the orange. That's why you have to hit control. Ooh, why does it look like that? Okay, I'm going to arrow over into the box, and then I put this number because that is this number right here. Okay, so I'm going to put in 1, the EE button, which means enter your exponent. What's my exponent? Negative 10. See what that looks like? And then you hit enter, and that tells me my pH is 10. So that's what goes in the box right here. Right? What about if I know the hydroxide concentration like I do here? I'm going to do that same calculation to find the pOH because that's what it tells me right here. To go from OH to pOH, it's negative log of the hydroxide concentration. So let's practice putting that in again. We're going to go negative control log, arrow over into the box, and we're going to put in 1, the EE button, and what's my exponent? Negative 12. Okay, see that? And hit enter. All right, so we get 12. All right, so we see how that corresponds to each other. All right, what if, though, I want to find the pOH if I know the pH? So let's look at that one. I know the pH. I want to know the pOH. pH to pOH, it says take 14, subtract your pH. So what's 14 minus 10? That is 4, right? What if I know the pOH and I want to know pH? 14 minus pOH. So let's look at another one. I know the pOH. I want pH. So I go 14 minus 2 is what? 12. All right. So everything's based on the number 14. All right. One more calculation we're going to practice here is what if I know the pOH and I want the hydroxide concentration, or I know the pH and I want the hydrogen concentration. You see this? 10 to the negative pOH, 10 to the negative pH. Okay, these are called antilogs. It is the same calculation, but what are we using? We're going to use this button right here, this 10 to the X button. That's the one, same button you push to get the log. We're just not going to hit control. Okay, so let's look at one of these. I know the pOH, but I want the OH, so I'm going to do the antilog. All right, so what's it telling me to do? It's telling me I'm going to take the pOH, and I go 10 to the negative pOH. What's my X? 10 to the X is negative pOH. Okay, so 10 to the X, negative 4. That's what we're going to put in there, negative 4. Don't forget the negative or it comes out wrong. Hit enter. Oh, we don't like that. We don't want fractions, so hit control enter. See that? It goes 0.0001. Okay, we don't want that number. We want it in scientific notation. So we're going to change that into scientific notation. So we're going to change that to 1 times 10, and we're going to move that decimal 1, 2, 3, 4 places behind the 1, so that exponent tells me how many places I move the decimal. So that's why my OH is 1 times 10 to the negative 4. Let's look at another one. Let's look at number 2. If I know the pH is 7, what's the hydrogen concentration? So again, let's go here and look at our chart. It says pH to hydrogen concentration. I'm going to do the antilog. 10 to the negative pH. So that's what I'm putting in the calculator. 10 to the negative pH, which is 7. 10 to the negative 7. So 10 to the X, negative 7. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. Again, I don't like that, so I'm going to hit control enter. See what it says? It says 1e negative 7. What is that, though? 1 times 10 to the negative 7. That e means times 10. All right, we're going to keep practicing those. We're going to practice logs, negative logs, antilogs. Okay, once you learn how to put it in the calculator, everything is easy from there. If you still need help, let me know.